Here is how you change your accent in the English language. If you want your pronunciation to sound more like a native English speaker, then you're going to need four things. The first thing is English immersion. And this does not necessarily mean that you need to be in an English speaking country, such as Canada, the United States, England, Australia, etc. Is English immersion going to be easier if you're in an English speaking country? Yes. Is English immersion still possible from your home country that is not an English speaking country? Also, yes. However, if you're going to immerse yourself in English in a non English speaking country, such as your home country perhaps, there are three things that you're absolutely going to need to do. And these three things also apply if you're trying to immerse yourself in an English speaking country too. The first thing is you will need to know how to identify every single object that you see on a daily, weekly, monthly, or routine basis in your life. Examples of these objects would be any object that you see in your bedroom, in your living room, in your kitchen, in the building that you live in, at the grocery store where you get food, at your place of business or work, at your school, any object that you see every day, every week, or every month. You should know how to identify that object in the English language. In order to ensure that you can do this, what I would do is create a flashcard deck on the application Anki or Quizlet. Both of them are 100% free. And I would make a list of all those objects that you see. If you see any of them around the room that you're in that you cannot identify, research it, make a flashcard, and add it to the deck. In addition, I would add images to your flashcards as well, as opposed to just words translated back into your native language. This is a small detail, but it actually makes all the difference when it comes to developing the English side of your brain. A common mistake that most language learners make is they try to translate words back from their native language into the English language, as opposed to associating imagery with words. At the beginner level, this is normal to some extent, but especially if you're getting to the intermediate levels or advanced levels of English, you should not be doing this at all. You need to be thinking and moving and navigating your way in the English language when you want to use the English language. As you build this flashcard deck and practice them daily, you will see huge progress in terms of your vocabulary, especially because you're seeing these objects every single day. You're going to have the opportunity to identify them every day, and it will be difficult to forget. The second thing you should do to immerse yourself in English, whether it's in an English speaking country or non-English speaking country, is actually quite easy, and that would be to put all of your electronic devices into the English language. That means setting your phone in the English language. That means setting your computer or computers in the English language. If this is a bit complicated for you to do because of your job, maybe you don't work in the English language, you can also just add English as an additional language to your electronic devices. Related to what I previously mentioned, as you see icons for applications on your phone, you'll be able to identify them and identify the words corresponding to them in the English language. This is an extremely easy way to immerse yourself in English and pick up on some of the more nuanced terms that you'll see on your electronic devices in the English language. And the third thing you should do to immerse yourself is consume media solely in the English language, whether this be on social media, YouTube, TV, any sort of media source. Make sure it is in the English language. It is extremely easy to find any of this media in the English language, as about 80% of all the media out there in the world is in the English language or has a version in the English language. So there will be no shortage of content that is about a subject or a topic that you are particularly interested in, or something that is relevant to your lifestyle. To make sure that you're consuming English media that is at your current level of English, you should understand about 80% of what is being said and be guessing what the other 10 to 20% means based on the context by which it is delivered. A common mistake that language learners make is listening and consuming media that is way above their current level of the language that they're trying to learn. If you do this, you're just going to get very frustrated. You're not going to understand anything, and it's going to take you a very long time to make any sort of progress. Make sure that you understand the majority of the media that you're consuming. That means that it's at your current level, and you'll slowly progress and build up to higher levels as your vocabulary expands. This leads to the next step, which is reading out loud. Reading out loud is basically a cheat code for learning English. It's very overlooked, but if you read anything that you see out loud in English, or if you read the subtitles on the video that you're watching out loud in English, this will actually train your mouth to pronounce words like a native English speaker or like a fluent English speaker that you're watching in the video. This is such a small thing that you can do every single day, but if you do this on a daily basis, you're going to see huge results in your pronunciation over the span of 6 months, a year, 2 years, or more. At every single opportunity you get, try to read out loud and really train your mouth to speak like native speakers. The third thing that you'll need is feedback, and this can come in many different forms. Now, if you're currently at the intermediate levels or advanced levels of English, then honestly, in some cases, you might even just be able to give yourself feedback by recording yourself speaking about something and then watching it and critiquing yourself. At the upper intermediate level or advanced levels of English, if you watch a recording of yourself speaking English, you'll probably have enough experience to be able to identify which words you're struggling to pronounce and which grammatical mistakes that you're making. For beginners, it is highly recommended that you use a qualified English teacher or tutor to give you feedback in the early stages of learning English. Now, if you're going to use an online tutoring platform, I would not recommend just using any native English speaker for feedback, as a lot of native English speakers are not even really qualified to help you that well. Native English speakers learned the English language by heart ever since they were born. They do not have a very profound understanding of the process it takes for a non-native English speaker to speak and learn the English language. Whereas a qualified English teacher or a qualified English tutor has had experience teaching many different people from all over the world how to learn and how to speak and develop their English skills hundreds, if not thousands of times. If you're going to use online tutoring, there's only one platform that I'd really recommend, and that would be the platform LanguageTalk. I recommend this one over all the others because the tutors and the teachers on that particular platform are actually qualified and actually went through an intense screening process in order to be able to teach on that platform. I'll leave a link somewhere in the description if you want to check it out. The last thing you'll need in order to change your accent in English will be the shadowing technique. The shadowing technique has been proven to work for ages, way before I was born and way before you were born as well. There are many different ways to use the shadowing technique, such as reading the subtitles on a video that you're watching, or reading along with an audiobook out loud, or singing along to the lyrics of a song that you're familiar with or that you enjoy in the English language. In my opinion, I think singing along to the lyrics of English music that you really like is probably the most fun way to use the shadowing technique to improve your pronunciation in English. You can also learn a lot about many different cultures in English-speaking countries by listening to music that is in English. So to recap, the 4 things that you'll need in order to change your accent in English would be English immersion, which can be done in English-speaking countries and non-English speaking countries. Reading out loud, a small detail, but it goes a really long way if you can do it daily. Feedback, which can be done by yourself if you're at the more advanced levels of English, or with a qualified English teacher or tutor if you're less comfortable doing it yourself. And the shadowing technique, which can be done in many different ways, and you could probably find a way that works the best for you or that you enjoy doing the most. If you do these 4 things, you're going to see massive amounts of progress in your pronunciation over the span of 6 months to a year to 2 years. And if you go beyond that, you're just going to sound like a native English speaker if you do these things consistently. Any questions, comments, concerns, leave a comment down below, and I'll see you in the next video.